I'm Sharon Myron, and as Debbie mentioned, I I am currently a Multnomah County Commissioner. I'm also an emergency room doctor, and in the past, I was medical director of the Oregon Foundation for Reproductive Health. And I'm connected to the issue of reproductive health care and justice through all of those sort of, my official roles, I guess. And of course, as a county commissioner, it's through policy and working with an incredible commission, five women commissioners who share so much in terms of values and really enacting policies to protect people who are most vulnerable and to protect our basic rights. And so we are here and enacting policies that can help to get us through these times. And one of the things that we have done, very, it's more of a gesture than something at this point that will make a huge difference, but it is emblematic, and it is following the state's lead, which is a bigger gesture. And we have adopted, we are allocating $200,000 to use to protect the rights of women, those with uteruses, to come to Oregon. To come, for us, it's to Multnomah County. For the legislature, it was $15 million for the state of Oregon, to truly be a sanctuary where people can come when they have nowhere else to go. And so we allocated $200,000 to support access to abortion in Multnomah County. As an emergency room doctor, we're so used to going in, taking action, identifying the problems, like triage. Okay, we're going to do this, and in that capacity, I have treated at this point thousands of women who have, and others, again, people with uteruses, gender non-binary people who have faced the devastating consequences of not having access to the healthcare, this basic right, the healthcare that they need to support them. And those consequences truly are, the magnitude can't be overstated. And so step in to try to do things that can help there. Even when damage has already been done, we seek to minimize that. And in that capacity, I have, performed abortions. I have helped women get the prescriptions that they need so that they can have this procedure that they need, so that they can pursue this in their own homes, in their own lives. And so again, it's doing something. It feels like it's doing something. And here, I'm fortunate that we still in Oregon are allowed to do this kind of thing. And it is medical director for the Oregon Foundation for Reproductive Health. Again, it was about policies. It was about public health and educating around issues of reproductive health care and how to ensure pregnancies are safe, healthy, and wanted. And it was just a given for so many years that wanted element, if a pregnancy was not wanted for whatever reason at a period in a woman's life, that she had that option to choose to terminate the pregnancy. And that could be a decision she made with her healthcare provider. And when I say she, I do want to be more gender expansive, because this does apply to people, anyone with the uterus. And there are so many other issues implicated here in terms of gender, gender and identity and care and justice and freedom. So, these are the places where my work has intersected, where I felt like I've been, okay, I can do something. But where I am most concerned, where I'm most connected, where this hits me in my heart and my soul, is as a human being. I mean, it's as a mom of two gender non-binary kids. It's being a woman who was fortunate to grow up in a time, and through my own, luck of the draw, really, in circumstances where I had to worry that I could not have access to the reproductive health care, including abortion, that I might need. And yet it was still a time. I grew up when Roe v. Wade was relatively new, when this was something that we did not take for granted. I did not take for granted. The battles that had been fought were not far off. But now we're in this historical moment that it's hard to wrap our arms around. I knew this was coming rationally. I knew it was coming. You've been watching the erosion. We've been watching what's happening. We had the leaked opinion. And yet somehow, it's like, I just couldn't get myself to believe it. I'm like, but it can't actually happen. And here we are. So this is, as I just really appreciate Debbie mentioning in the beginning, and Sharon, Shabbat is a time of reflection. It's of rest. And I appreciate having this sort of the timing of this being when it is the time of Shabbat, even though I have not felt very restful, and I have not felt like it has been so painful to reflect. But as Jewish women, I think that we have, I don't know if I'm waxing too philosophical here. I'm just kind of, there's so much. But as Jewish women, what I've appreciated over this time is the perspective and belief that we have in our religion, that, again, though we wouldn't impose this on others who do not share our religion, but in our religion, in Judaism, life does not begin at conception, and a fetus does not become legally a human being until birth, and a full human being until birth. And in fact, abortions are required, and scholars can correct me if I'm wrong, but I have talked to a lot of people about this recently, but when the mother's health is at stake, this takes precedence. And some of this has given me solace over this difficult time. And, I'm supposed to talk about action. And I know there is not going to be that action that is going to change this in the way that suddenly this opinion has changed the reality of our lives and our world. But tonight on Havdalah, it is the perfect time to focus on Tikkun Olam, how we can find that strength and move forward down the many paths that we are going to have to take together to fight this fight for our freedom, for our reproductive health, for future generations. And so there are a bunch of things that are happening and ways to plug into that. And it's, one big one, not sure what we can do here. We need to reform the Supreme Court. This is just so huge right now. And that we had a stacked Supreme Court that was whether or not I feel it's illegal, but at least the unethical, how we got to this packed court is shameful and unconscionable, and we need to address that as a nation. We also can invest in funds that are out there in organizations like Planned Parenthood, which is struggling to meet so much need. Invest in them for their facilities, for navigators, and support for the people who are actually doing the work on the front line, providing abortions and care. They need support, and we can invest our resources. If we can't be there doing the work, invest in those people who can, so that they can bear it and get through this as well. There are efforts underway to identify ways to house people who might be coming, to offer them shelter for people coming to Oregon who may need abortions. And then right now, the ACLU, other leaders, lawyers, the courts are considering the implications of some of these laws and what they may be on as people. We have abortion refugees coming to our state because we do allow this, we still allow full access to abortion. So these are things are happening. Things are happening, and the work is, it's becoming clear, the paths are becoming clear. And I think, first of all, for me, knowing this is happening is something. Coming together in community is really, really important during this time. And again, I'm so grateful to be here with you. And thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Sharon, other Sharon, and for putting this together. It is, I don't even know what the word is, but it has really been a blessing. A blessing, that is the word. It's a blessing. And so I look forward to working and joining with organizations, giving my money to do this work as we move into this new world, and as we fight for freedom, and with the knowledge that as we look through history, whatever the timing may be, this too shall pass, and we will get through it, and we will emerge better. So
it was so lovely to meet you, and thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your passion with us. And I hope that we can continue to share resources with one another, and when things come our way that, you know, are tangible things that we can do in addition to those things that you've mentioned now, that we'll share those with each other and continue to nourish and give one another strength.
All right. Well, sending love through the airwaves and strength. And thank you again, Sharon and Sharon, for your beautiful voices that and energies that you brought tonight. Shavua Tov, everyone.